So, how did we get here? 5 superheroes. Or are they really? Today, our researchers find out, are they really superheroes? Or are they just frauds? Come along with me, Dr. Bonkter, as we try to discover the truth.
Hello, Taste Man. Thank you for coming this afternoon.
Hey, no
so
problem.
tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, yeah, I was born in LA, moved here in like junior year of high school. Yeah, and like one day, all I knew, I was tasting people's fears.
So tell me about this first experience when you tasted someone's fears.
So I was at the bank, I had to withdraw money because I was broke. And like a robber came in and like everyone's all like peeing their pants and like I had gum, it was mint. And all of a sudden it tastes like licorice. And I was all like, hold on, this doesn't work. Went to the doctor, said nothing wrong, passed on who was dying, licorice again. Must been tasting fear, man.
So you're saying the taste of fear is licorice?
Yeah, licorice.
And I see here on your record that you have a history of substance abuse. Do you think that could have anything to do with it?
No, not at all, man.
So how do you think tasting fear makes you a superhero?
Man, so like, let's say you in trouble, man. I taste that for like a mile away, man. I come running in like Superman. Save you.
So you're saying you can taste fear through the air?
Yeah.
Even when you don't have peppermint gum?
Yeah.
That tastes like licorice.
Yeah.
And so, if you couldn't taste fear, where do you think you'd be today?
Probably still in the bank.
Stuck in that bank?
Yep.
You know they make doors, right?
Yep.
So do you think you really are a superhero?
Of course.
Why? How many people have you saved?
Let me think. That cat, that old lady, people in the bank, almost dying woman.
Tasteman's ability to taste fear is not possible. Fear is not a taste, nor does it have a taste. Fear is just an emotion. It is not possible for a human to taste an emotion. Most likely, Tasteman is just crazy. That or he's on drugs. He is known for substance abuse.
Good afternoon, Vision. Thank you for coming in today. So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you grew up and where you first discovered your powers.
Well, I'm just a normal person, but I can see in the dark.
So tell me about this ability and when you first used it to be able to see in the dark.
I first realized I had my power when I was 8 years old. During a bedtime story, I was afraid because my dad would always tell me about these monsters underneath my bed, and I wanted to check for myself. But unfortunately, I didn't want to turn on the lights, so I checked on it anyway.
And when you see in the dark, can you explain a little bit more how it works? Like what colors are you able to see?
I see perfectly fine, and including in the dark. For example, I can see that computer over there.
And so, are you aware that with these abilities, you should also have impaired color perception, even though you claim to see every color?
I do not have impaired color perception. I can see perfectly fine.
I mean, I don't make up the facts. I'm just reading them to you. So, would you really consider yourself to be a superhero?
Yes, I would consider myself to be a superhero. I can fight crime in the dark when others can't.
Have you heard of a flashlight?
Yes.
How would you respond to critics that call you just a crazy person?
I would respond to say, powers are unique when you have them, but from everyone else's view, it just may seem like a useless thing, but when you have it, it feels special.
Okay, but how can seeing in the dark really help anyone? Like, there's no possible way you could ever help someone, even with this night vision that you claim to have.
I don't know.
That's all I needed.
It is not possible for this person to see in the dark as well as they say. In order to do this, they would have to have an abnormal cone and rod difference in their eyes from the normal human concentration. This concentration is 120 million rods and 6.5 million cones in an average human. If they were able to see in the dark, they would have more rods and fewer cones, which would also cause their color perception to be weaker, contrary to what they said. The power of seeing in the dark with no color perception difference without artificial help is not possible in humans, and this person is a fraud.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming this afternoon. It says here your name is, you go by Painless. So tell me a little bit about yourself, your childhood, and how you got your start.
I was born and raised in Carmel, Indiana, and I've had my ability, the power to not feel pain all of my life. And yeah, I realized it could be used for something really good.
So can you tell me about your first experience of not being able to feel pain?
Well, like I said, I've had it since I was a baby, but my most distinctive memory is actually when I was 8 and I was being bullied. And I realized that I could chase after the bad guy even when I was hurt because I couldn't feel the pain, and I could pursue him and I could, lock him up. So that's what I hope to do with all the bad guys of the world.
When did you really become painless? Like, when did you really start using your powers for good?
Well, ever since that day, I've always tried to, help around the schoolyard, whether it was helping the little kids or, looking after people who didn't have anyone else to protect them. And I've just really tried to always stick up for the good of the people.
Do you really consider yourself a superhero, though? Like, not being able to feel pain feels like a selfish power.
I wouldn't call it selfish. I mean, I'm using it for good, right? I'm definitely a superhero. My whole job, my whole life is to protect people.
Yeah, but are you really a hero? Like, when you're fighting crime, what makes you really much better than the average human? Because you still get these injuries even though you can't feel them.
Yeah, but I can pursue the bad guy, right? Even if I am hurt, I can just keep going and I won't feel the pain and I'll be able to catch him.
You keep mentioning that you keep going and like you can push past the limits of a normal human and you just always are pushing forward. So what is your response to the critics who claim that you're a domestic terrorist in light of recent events with the destruction that you caused in the fight against Bear Man?
Excuse me? That was for the good of the people. I had to destroy those buildings because I was fighting Bear Man. He is one of the worst villains out there. If I didn't do that, then who else would be able to save the world?
Yeah, but if you say this is a real power for good, then why have so many innocent lives been lost?
Well, I mean, I can't save everyone, right? Like, that's just something that's impossible for me to do. I mean, I'm just here trying to make the world a better place. Of course, there's going to be some casualties on the side. That's just something I can't help.
Well, you know what else sounds impossible? Being the superhero called Painless.
Painless is not a superhero. While it is possible for people to be unable to feel pain and temperature due to congenital insensitivity to pain, or SIPA, this condition often leaves kids dead early in their childhood due to unnoticed injury or illness. Additionally, Painless is not known to have this, so she is definitely not a superhero. She may be lying or making up these things.
Good afternoon, Bear Man. Tell me a little bit about yourself, your childhood, and where you got your start.
My childhood, so I was in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Then I would just raise, I don't know, I kind of slept through most of my childhood, like hibernation,
So what was your first experience with your freak sense of smell?
I walked up to this dude and he just smelled like real funky, I was just like, you smell kind of weird. And he was just like, what? And then he just kind of like walked away. And then it turns out I saw him again and he was just on the street. He was crying. I asked him what was wrong. He was just like, I have cancer. And then I just knew I could just smell cancer.
So how does your sense of smell really help the world? Like, I get you can figure out people have cancer, but like you're not helping them.
Well, if like the earlier you get diagnosed with cancer, like the more likely it is you'll get treated,
Right, I guess that is a fair point, but a recent study has shown that you've only accurately identified half of the cancer patients that you smell. What do you have to say for yourself?
Where'd this study come from? Sounds pretty biased to me.
This was from Pew Research Center.
Pew Research? You really got Pew Research on it?
I do.
I don't know. Well, I'll have to check the facts on that one.
All right, well, while you're doing that, you can think about your recent fight with Painless, the superhero that cannot feel pain. Are you aware?
No?
Oh, okay, well, let's see if you recognize this next part. Led to the death of dozens of innocent lives. How do you explain yourself?
I'm a superhero. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to hurt people.
But you did hurt people, and by smelling them, you are hurting them emotionally and physically because you're telling them you have cancer. It might have gone unnoticed, but when they go through chemo, they're going to be hurt either way. So, are you really a hero?
I mean, but like, so they have cancer, right? What if they die from the cancer because they didn't know they have cancer? And then if they go through chemo and then they get rid of the cancer, then aren't they going to be alive or more likely to be alive?
Yeah,
So,
but do you think the world really would be all that different if you weren't Bearman today?
Yeah,
Can you elaborate?
I can smell cancer, man. Like, what can you do?
I can expose all these fake superheroes.
For real? We'll see about that.
All right.
Having cancer increases the number of polyamines in the body. These can be smelled by dogs, but there is no known human who can do this. Additionally, the human nose is not powerful enough to do this currently. There is no way Bearman can smell cancer. He may be smelling some of the ulcers caused by cancer, but it is not possible that he can smell cancer.
Good afternoon, Black Widow. Thank you for coming in this afternoon. So to get started, let's go over your backstory.
Well, I grew up in Russia. I'm a war criminal. But, I've done my time and, I've just really grown.
So what was your first experience with your powers, and then can you describe how your powers work?
Yeah, so I was actually at my little brother's birthday party, stuffing some cupcakes in my face, and all of a sudden, I heard this really loud noise. I didn't know where it came from, but I kind of started to feel like I had the sense and that I had this secret power. I can hear all.
Would you consider this ability to hear all frequencies a burden or a gift?
A little bit of both at certain times, but overall, I would say it's a burden. It's really impacted my life in a negative way, and I just wish I didn't have this on my shoulders.
So we're here today because you, along with 4 others, have claimed to be superheroes. So how does your ability enable you to help someone where others can't?
Well, for instance, I can hear, as I can hear all hurts, if anybody is talking in a secret way or from far away, I can hear it all. I can hear their plans. I can hear their secret tunnel ways, where they are, where they're located. I have all the insight.
Right, and so how would the world be different if you did not have these powers?
Well, if I didn't have these powers, I really feel like humanity would just be a dump. I really just think that, if I didn't have these powers, nothing would be found out. No one would know where these war criminals were hiding. No one would know where they were going, what they were doing, what weapons they were using. And I have this insider trade, and I'm using my powers to do good.
Can you give us a few names of these war criminals that you claim to have stopped?
Well, we got Black Sabbath. We got Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd, Mr. Maxwell. Oh, wow, I'm just spacing on his name. Mr. Maxwell Zernheld and Bobby Flenderson.
I'm getting reports that you just made up 3 of those. So are you a liar and a superhero, or?
I am not lying.
People with normal audiation are born hearing about 10 octaves, 20 hertz, 20 kilohertz. As we get older, the upper level of sound frequency perception also gradually drops. Mostly around 40 years, frequencies higher than 15 kilohertz will not be heard. Hearing limitless frequencies is physically impossible. The higher the sound frequencies, the more they are attenuated by the atmosphere. Even bats that use close to 100 kilohertz sound for echolocation have to deal with the attenuation of sound around 3 decibels a meter. Our investigators worked hard to find these questions and these people. And clearly, as you can see, these people were lying. Come. One crazy maniac from Russia who could hear things. Everyone can hear things. Another could smell cancer and goes by Bear Man. You're not a bear, and you can't smell cancer. The third can taste fear. You can't taste fear, and it doesn't taste like licorice. This was a crazy drug abuser who just thought he would be special. Another could see in the dark. You're not seeing anything in the dark. You're just going crazy. The fifth, painless. If you really are painless, you'll die without feeling it. As you can tell, these people are frauds. They're not incredible. This is impossible.